All right, we are finding the determinant of 3, 3, negative 1, negative 2, negative 2, 1, and negative 4, negative 5, 2. And when I put the straight lines instead of the brackets, like it looks like an absolute value, that is telling me to find the value, the determinant of the matrix. So that's why I didn't do the little brackets, because in the question itself it's saying we're finding the determinant of it. So by writing the straight lines instead, I'm basically saying find the determinant without actually writing out the words. So anyway, I'm going to copy down the first two columns. So column 1 is 3, 3, negative 1. So I'm going to write that down again. Then I'm going to write down the second column. So negative 2, negative 2, 1. Then the multiplication happens. So I multiply these three numbers together. So that's 3. I'm going to write out work that I didn't do on the previous problem just because I kind of was hurrying through that, something we'd already learned. But if we want to make sure we understand it, I'm going to write it all out. Not that you have to write it all out on your test, as long as you have some sort of work. I just want to make sure we can see where everything comes from. So see, 3 times negative 2 times 2. So negative 6 times 2, so negative 12. And then I'm going to do negative 2 times negative 5 times negative 1. So that would be plus negative 10. And then I have negative 4 times 3 times 1. So that would be plus a negative 12. So just those three numbers together. Oh, and I didn't keep writing out my process here, did I? Maybe I don't need it. That was supposed to be a times negative 5, not an extra long subtract. Gotta love this technology. Negative 4 times 3 times 1. Okay, so combine those together, we get negative 34. All right, now I'm going to subtract the numbers I get the other direction. So that will be this way. So negative 1 times negative 2 times negative 4. So negative 2 and negative 4 is negative, or positive 8 times negative 1 is negative 8. I'm just going to stick with purple on this one. I've run out of colors. So 1 times negative 5 times 3. Why does it keep doing that? It keeps blending my strokes together. Can't even read what I just wrote. Okay, 1 times negative 5 times 3. So that's a negative 15. We're just looking at some of the chapter assignments at the moment. And then I didn't need to end that with parentheses. I'm rewriting that whole thing. I don't like how it looks. So we had 1 times negative 2 times negative 4 plus 1 times negative 5 times 3 plus 2 times 3 times negative 2. Right there, my 2 went wacky. So that's 6, negative 12. So now let's add that whole number together. Does anyone see any arithmetic mistakes I've made? Because I have corrected myself so many times, I'm worried I did something wrong somewhere, just in case, because I know myself. So negative 8 and negative 12 is negative 20. So this would be a negative 35, I think. So we're actually subtracting that number. So subtract that negative 35, which is all of these combined together. So these numbers combined together, subtract these numbers combined together. So negative 34 subtracted negative 35 is 1. So the determinant, all that work to determine that it's 1. Which means if we were using this as something like Cramer's rule or whatever, that's kind of nice. So it means we're dividing by 1.